Hey everyone, and welcome to another helmet ballistic test. I am Mike B, and I've got my cameraman
Devin K,
who's also going to be doing some of the test shooting today. And today we're going to be doing one that's actually really unique that a lot of you probably would never have heard of. I hadn't heard of it until a couple years ago. And it's a really, actually fairly widely used design in Eastern Europe, Southeastern Europe to be specific, the Balkans. And it's going to be the Slovenian T91. Is this Kevlar?
yes.
Okay, so this is Kevlar, because you have to be specific when you're talking about the exact material. This is a, ick, what's that?
Big
That is a
Spidey.
nasty big spider.
Yeah,
Whatever
it's
it is.
fine.
It's
He could have been safe.
All right, so that aside. So yeah, it's a Kevlar helmet. It's actually got a really low profile. It's very small, but it seems to be shaped fairly well, and it's very simple. So this was T91 is like it was designed in 1991, correct, and kind of implemented then?
Yep.
Yeah, so early 90s. So this would be a Gen 1 Kevlar helmet, right?
Yes.
Yep, and so Slovenia, this is made at the Veplas factory, which also manufactured the
MPC one for Yugoslavia.
and the later ASR 97 for Slovakia. So these guys make a lot of helmets that nobody would really think about because Slovenia is, I guess, not really widely known in the Western Hemisphere, like the United States specifically.
But that's where Trump's wife's from.
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, it's just people in the U.S. aren't good at geography, just in general. Our school system sucks. You have to learn it on your own, which I have. Anyway, we'll go on with that. So it's got the I don't know what this is, like the Army coat of arms, or just the national, or
It's like the national emblem.
What?
It's like the national emblem, the mountains.
Yeah, if you're
with
from
the flag.
Slovenia, let us know what this is actually for. If it's for the Army specifically, if you got different branch decals, because I don't know at this point. This one's missing the rubber rim, so I got a pretty decent deal on it a while back, and then I've since acquired one with a rim on it, so we're going to sacrifice this for the sake of science. Not really. And so before you guys, I got to do a couple little caveats, little disclaimers, because I get these comments on every single one of these videos. One, you're destroying a piece of history by shooting this helmet. Why are you doing this? It's totally collectible. Well, you're somewhat correct. It's collectible for sure. It's a piece of history in its own respect. However, this one has got some issues, and the amount of knowledge gained out of doing this test will actually outweigh the actual historic value of this probably now and forever. So that's one thing out of the way. That's the way we view it. That's the way most people view it, but there's always the people that they just cannot get over the fact that we're shooting one of these. We're both helmet nerds. We love helmets. We respect helmets. We collect them. We've always wanted to do these tests with, firing different rounds at them and seeing what they can absorb or deflect. Now that leads us into our next caveat. We both know, and most of the viewers know, these are not designed at all to stop direct hits from a bullet. They're designed to stop debris and some shrapnel, actual shrapnel, the balls coming out of the overhead, which they don't really use that much anymore. Not really for fragments or direct hits from bullets. I get that. However, it is interesting and fun to see what all these different designs, these different shapes and materials and different countries' perspective and take on these will deflect or stop regarding pretty common pistol calibers and possibly rifle calibers from around the world. That being said, let's get to the shooting.
All right, so we're going to be shooting it now with the very first round in the gauntlet, the 32 ACP, which is a what?
71
grain full metal jacket. All right. Nice and square. Very white.
Yeah, it looks like that stuff that the Yugo M89 was made out of.
Yeah, the very white aramid fibers.
So it's not technically Kevlar then, right? It's just aramid?
Well,
very
Kevlar-
little
Deformations.
deformation. Awesome. So far we're on par with other helmets of the composite type. Okay, so now we're going to be firing. Again, I forgot to mention we're standing at about 5 yards, which I know is very close, but it's so we can hit our target effectively, and it's a pretty close quarters combat distance that would not be unrealistic for use with a pistol, such as like urban settings and stuff like that. So there we go. This is going to be the 9x18 Makarov. I forgot what weight bullets, tull ammo, the regular stuff, the steel case. And it's going to be out of the VZ82 pistol. That was a rim shot.
Yeah,
I'll
hit
go
it again.
Well, let me just go one a little bit higher. Just a little bit higher. There we go. Right?
Looks good to me.
Did I hit it to the exact same damn hole?
No, see that one you hit a little higher. It's just...
No, that was the first one.
I mean, it still did good. I mean, you could tell that it didn't even...
Let's just
you hit high enough to not hit the very edge, but it didn't deform all that much.
I just want to get one good shot with this.
One good shot on it? All right.
Because otherwise, yeah, rightfully so, people in the videos are like, well, that wasn't a good hit. And it's fair. So, all right.
That looks better.
That was like right in the center. So right by the rivet.
That's a screw.
Or a screw, rather. So I think it just came out the bottom, even though it hit there. So it went through the layers like it was supposed to. It probably knocked the rim off.
Yeah.
So,
good thing this one didn't have it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we're going to shoot it with a 124 grain full metal jacket 9mm NATO out of the Beretta 92.
FS.
FS, which stands for what?
Nice hit. What have we? Oh yeah, pretty typical.
And it's got that smell to it. The same really like burning rubber, not even like plastic, but like burning rubber almost.
It just smells toxic.
Yeah.
It doesn't smell good.
Mm.
But that's about what you're going to get from most composite helmets of this era. And even later is you're going to get that back face deformation. That could have been fatal, but there's a better chance than not wearing a helmet and getting hit in that same spot.
True. And without the rim on this, we could actually see how thin these are compared to like
they're very
a Casket.
thin.
Yeah.
And
these
light.
are like Mark 7 thin.
Yes, and I think they're thinner than a Mark 7 and they're very light.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's not bad for 9mm. Let's continue on. Now we're doing a 230 grain full metal jacket out of the 45 ACP, or out of the 1911 45 ACP.
You want to give it another one? Oh, you hit it real
I hit
square.
it right above the crest.
That's kind of weird what it did. It did like a spin, like you glanced it.
So it's kind of deforming in the same hole as the 9mm.
That's still livable,
It still
though.
defeated it.
Yeah. I mean, with how high these sit on the head, that's still livable. That guy's got a bruise.
Oh yeah, you're not going to be having a good day, but you might still be alive. All right, now the deciding factor.
Now the deciding factor. Alrighty, so now we're going to shoot it with the 7.62 Tokarev out of the Bugo M57. Don't know what the weight of the ammo is. It's Romanian surplus, though.
Oh, something flew. Did you see that?
Yeah.
There. Oh yeah, it cut through it.
Right there, and you can see it there on the back. Yeah.
Let's see what the deformation
Look at
looks
all the
like.
little like almost. Ew, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be like fiberglass, you know, where it's just gonna now cut into my hand all over.
I think it'd be softer than fiberglass, right? So it cut in, and then let me just feel really quick so we don't have to touch it. Yeah, it just made a clean hole.
Yep.
Okay, well, we'll finish this up with 357 Magnum, and then we'll conclude the video. So now we're going to be shooting a 357 Magnum, 142 grain semi-wad cutter full metal jacket out of the Ruger GP100. Yep, that's a hit.
That'll do it.
Let's see what
It's a
we
big
got.
crack. That's not as bad as I thought it would be. That really isn't as bad as I thought it would be for a 37.
A lot of deformation, but no penetration. All right. Let's wrap her up. So overall, not a bad Gen 1 composite helmet at all compared to some other ones that we've tested that just didn't do well at all, like the British Mark 6, the Italian SEP 2. Just both of those didn't even stop 9mm. This did. It performed pretty well. The Tokarev round, as much as it punched through and you're like, oh wow, and it stopped all the rest of them, that's not surprising at all, considering that a lot of level 2 and level 3 armor is penetrated very easily by that round because of the velocity and the size of it and how it performs. So for it to penetrate through that, that's not a problem. This is a pretty average performing composite helmet, especially being as early as it was. A lot of countries didn't start using composite helmets until the mid to late 90s, really, like a lot of them. Some of them started in the 80s, well 70s for testing. So for this to be from a smaller country, but these helmets were exported quite a bit. You can probably go watch Devin K's video, and I'll try to make one eventually on the one that I have, just for whatever. They're a really interesting helmet, and I mean, the profile again is what I really like about this. I like the shape of the helmet. The weight of it is fantastic for that amount of protection that you would be getting. Again, I'm not advising you do that. It's not legal advice, but I'm saying from what I'm observing, that's when you weigh that in with like the actual physical weight and the size of other composite helmets of the same performance, this one kind of gets a little bit more just because it's a little bit, you know, less heavy and cumbersome. So actually not a bad performing helmet with these ballistic tests, you know, being consistent with the other ones. So, you got anything to add?
That sounds pretty good to me.
All right, cool. So we'll wrap this video up. If you like this video and you like all the other cool tests, ballistic tests like this that require a decent amount of cash to fund in order to do, you can support mine and Devin's work by becoming a Patreon supporter or a channel member. Going to the link in the description to check out Devin K's channel, subscribe to him, and support him on Patreon if you want. And then my Patreon link is in the description as well. So if you want to do that, that would be great. It allows us to do cool videos like this. Like this was about, what the hell did I pay for this? Something like 60 or 75 bucks.
They're pretty expensive. Most of them have to come from Iraq now. They're about the only country that has them.
Well, I got that one from Slovenia.
Okay, there you go.
Even though it had the rim missing, it was like with shipping like 60 or 75 bucks. That's not really a cheap target, but I mean, that's fine. Because of Patreon supporters and channel members, for both of us, we're allowed to do this stuff. Ammo costs money a lot this year. You get it. It costs money to do these kind of things. But we love doing it, and without Patreon support, we would not have been able to do this particular helmet or some of the other really expensive, more uncommon ones that we've done. So that is awesome. So if you want to do that, that's how your support helps. If you still want to support our work, but you can't do it financially, I totally get that. I really do understand that, and it's not a problem at all. You can still support our work by liking this video, subscribing to both of our channels if you haven't already, and also sharing this video out is what really helps the word spread. Maybe somebody doesn't know and they want to know, like somebody from Slovenia might want to know, hey, I wonder how this helmet would perform on a ballistic test like this. And there you've got a link to the video, and they can see it. If it's spread around, if it gets around, then they go, oh, okay. And that really does support channels more so than even just, you know, commenting and all the other stuff. So sharing is a great way to support. Now, if you fall into the third category and you're like, nah, don't want to do that, any of that, well, you already have supported us by watching this video, so I do appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone who watches these videos, and we'll see you on the next helmet ballistic test.